Hello, this is my tutorial on how to play Giten. It's not actually that complex. A lot of the information is very annoying and not presented very well, so I understand why it'd be annoying to figure out, as it was for me. But it's actually not that hard. Okay, so what you want to do, the main objective, the main thing that you want to focus on is this conf file. Now, I already have set it up to open to the notepad. You're gonna have to like do that yourself. It's pretty simple. Just like weird, but basically you just want it open with the notepad, and then you can edit in it. And that's all you need to do for that part. The main command that you want to do is go down for the Autoexec and write in this code. I'll have it in the description so you can just copy and paste it. Because this is the most important thing. This will actually just make the game run. Right here, where it says C colon slash Giten, this represents the pathway that the file is in. Now, I personally changed the name of the file, which is this, to Giten to just make it shorter for myself. But you could just keep it as disk image. I also put it specifically in the C drive to shorten the pathway, which is why it's only like two things. Depending on where you put it in your computer, the pathway will be different. So you're gonna have to, change it for that. But everything else is like the same. Don't touch it. Just like edit this part, uh, depending on the pathway. Okay, the other really important setting under DOSBox is to change this machine. I believe originally it's like it's just DOS. I forget, but basically just change it to PC98. This will change it into PC98 mode, and then the game can run. But we're not done yet, unfortunately. So initially, even though I did that, I still ran into issues that the game wouldn't run. Uh, I think I'll just show you an example of what happens when the game don't run right. But one solution I found is to change the mem size here to 16. Again, I forget what it is originally, but it doesn't really matter. Just like change it to 16. That should work. Okay, now here's the biggest issue that I've ran into, and I haven't really found a perfect solution, but I did find a solution, which is better than nothing. So originally this is in intelligent, and this will, for whatever reason, doesn't run very well. And there's a glitch where when you press new game, there will be it'll have a sticky note, and it'll just continuously play this one note. It's very annoying. And this is like a problem that persists. I've heard that eventually it goes away from people who've played the game farther than me, but I just cannot stand it. So the best solution I found is just to change this to none, and then it'll make the sound quality worse. It won't be as good to listen to, but it will be more consistent, which I find more palatable in my opinion. And that's all you need to do to make Gaia run. So let's just it should look like this. This should be the boot up process. If it's not this, then there are errors.
Wow.
Wow, isn't that nice? Look at that. Wow, back when Atlas had soul, am I right, folks? Now all they do is make games that don't have soul, whatever that means. Okay, so now you guys actually use the interface of DOSBox, which can also be a little confusing. So what you want to do is press Control Alt 10 or F10 or whatever the fuck. F10 right there, it's above there. And this will enter into mouse mode. So now you can use the mouse inside the program. And then you can press the same command to disengage. Now another thing that you might want to do, depending on your computer, because my computer doesn't have a traditional like number pad, doesn't really have that. So, and that's how the game is meant to be played. You're supposed to use the number pad to move around. So what I did is change the little outputs a little bit here. So I moved it to my WASD. So you can see here that the numbers right there correspond to the movements. And I personally changed it and combined it. Now to do that, you just press that. There you go, like that. I'm holding down the W key. And then you put add. And then you put save. And that will then link these two things to be the same. Uh, Isn't that fucking neat? And this is how you play Giten. Wow, look at that. That's how you play Giten for the Dosbox. Now, but the Dosbox isn't the only PC98 emulator, as there is another popular one, which I will now show you, just in case you want to know. Oh my gosh, it's Neko Project 21! I'll probably put a link, oh actually I put a link to both, how to download both these things, or like where to download both these things, now that I think about it. Neko Project 21 is a dedicated PC98 emulator. I've seen a lot of people prefer using this one, and it makes sense because it's a lot easier to use and is pretty simple, so don't worry about it. So depending on wherever you have the file, actually let's just go to desktop since I have it there. It's pretty simple. You just open up that one, and then you open up this one, and then boom, now it's ready. Then you go to reset. Now it's loading up. Wow, is the technology amazing? Cool, dog.
Wow.
Now, I've run into some problems with Neko Project. Like, whenever you close it and then reopen it, you kind of have to, or at least for me, do this like whole thing again to make it run, because for sometimes it just like doesn't run again. It's a pretty simple thing, just like eject it and then put it in. You know, that's not a major issue. Wow, look at that. Another thing that is very convenient that for some reason it just doesn't open up with is that after you run one of these programs, it'll give you this little file in which you can open up with Notepad. And I'll also put this in the description. But you want to put state save true, and this will activate save states. It just does not traditionally open up with that for some reason. You just kind of have to activate it. So I did no way. But another problem I also find is that some of these just don't work for whatever reason. I've not been able to specify why that is. But for whatever reason, this specific one works for me. It just might be just like a computer thing. So if it doesn't work first, I'd recommend just going through all these and then finding one that works, because that's what I did. And then I was like, oh, okay, so it does work. If not, then just I guess use DOSBox. It's just up to you, dog. But before the video ends, I want to thank Snecky however you pronounce it, for actually making the translation pack. Thank you very much. That is very cool of you to do. I'll link their Twitter because, you know, that's the best place to get the patch. But they're a very cool guy, and at the time of this video, they're working on a patch. So this video is might be a little bit outdated, although the processes on which you are able to emulate it should be the same. They shouldn't be affected. But the files I'm using might be a little dated, as there is seemingly a new patch coming out. But that is how you emulate Giten Megami Tensei for the PC98. Yeah, if I got any information wrong, just put it in the comments, because I'm also very new to DOSBox and all that stuff and the PC98 emulation. So I could have gotten some things wrong, but I think this is a good solution and a good way to run it, because it runs. So I assume it's somewhat good. Before this video ends, I want to reveal an interesting piece of information that I found out. So this is the artist for Giten Megami Tensei and some other Atlas stuff at the time in the late 90s. Now you first might go, well, actually, it's right there. Look at that. They're trans now. Well, I guess they're always trans. Sorry, that's improper. But they've now since come out or transitioned. You can go to their Twitter and it's like, wow, they're trans.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? I found that out and I was like, whoa, that's really cool. So go follow them on Twitter. They're cool. They post a lot about birds. I was like scrolling through their Twitter, and they post a lot of their bird. It's very cute. They seem very cool. So go follow her. She's epic. She gets my seal, the my universe seal of approval, or observable seal of approval. I forget my username.